Hello and welcome back to call number 2 with myself and Joanne. And as I mentioned in the last call, we're diving a little deeper into your relationship with your emotions, okay? So we're going to start off with some reflection time. So if you have a paper and pen, feel free to grab it. I have a very important question to ask, 2 important questions to ask. These 2 questions are connected to your relationship with your emotions. First question, which emotion do you experience regularly? What is one emotion that you consistently feel on a day-to-day basis? It's something that can feel comfortable, it may feel uncomfortable, but what is something that you are constantly feeling? Taking a moment to reflect on that. And then the second question is there an emotion that you resist, that you automatically reject, that you do not want to feel in any way, shape, or form? And I want you to write those emotions down. And they can be emotions that are uplifting, and they can be emotions that feel heavy and low. There are people that avoid feeling pleasure, feeling guilty for feeling pleasure. And some people do not want to feel uncomfortable. There are people that do not want to feel sad. And I want to give you a little insight into my personal experience with sadness in particular. I had a huge breakthrough this year, only a couple of months ago, and it was through my Kunyin training. So for those who don't know, I am a Kunyin instructor, but I'm also a Kunyin student. I'm a student, and I grow so much being a student. And it's through 6-week journeys where I consistently have a class every week for 6 weeks, where I feel like I'm literally growing equivalent to 3 months worth of growth. And in our classes, we move and we dance. And by doing that, we gain a lot of clarity because we're moving through so many emotions. And there was one tool that Joanne, who is the founder and also my coach, she pointed out, dance to a song that you resist. And I was like, oh, what would that be? What would that be? Because every song, every genre evokes a different emotion within your body. And when you play a certain song, you'll feel resistance because you don't want to feel that. And in class, whenever it came to sad music, and I just realized this a month ago, I would completely disassociate. I would completely disconnect when sad music would come on. I used to find it boring. But it was just me disconnecting because I wasn't allowing my body to feel sad, because a lot comes up when I feel sad. Also, when I'm in the car and a sad song comes on, my partner is also a producer. When he makes songs that have this sad element to it, I'm like, oh my God, I love you, but can you turn that off? It's making me really sad. I feel like I'm going to cry. And with that breakthrough in class, as I said, clarity comes in, and I realized that I had a belief within me, and it took me back to a memory, that in my early 20s, I was told that I cry as a way of manipulating. My tears are a way of manipulating. As soon as that was told to me in my early 20s, I cut off my channel to feeling sad and to crying in front of people, and also crying with myself. I'd never allowed myself to really express sadness. It felt too uncomfortable. And when Joanne mentioned that tip, move to something that you actually resist, I chose a sad song and I moved through it. And tears came, but I still was so tense. My jaw was locked, my knees were locked as I was moving because my body felt so uncomfortable. But there was way more tears that had to come. But it was the first step in opening up that expression and that space within my body to move to a sad song. And now in my practices, I incorporate and I move to way more sad songs. And my body's more comfortable with it now. And when I'm feeling sad, I can hold myself more. I hold myself. I feel safe enough to hold myself when I'm sad, rather than completely avoiding it or distracting myself and doing something else to not feel sad. And just take note if any light bulbs are going on for you as I'm expressing this story and my experience, because we all have emotions that we do not want to feel. There are emotions, and by doing that, once again, another huge light bulb that came for me is by me rejecting my sadness, I'm rejecting a part of myself. I'm rejecting a part of myself. And when that light bulb turned on, I was like, whoa, what is that doing to me? What's that doing to my body? And how can I accept myself completely? And Kunyin is a practice that allows you to invite and welcome all emotions without judgment. No matter what the emotion is, you are able to welcome it and to hold it and to listen to it and to move it. With everything that I've said, write down those light bulb moments, those aha thoughts that are coming through. And Joanne, did you want to say anything to that?
I've got a question for you, actually. So now with this awareness, how has your experience of life changed now that you know that's what you were doing and that you know now how to connect to that emotion and how to be able to move it healthily through your body and how to hold yourself through your sadness? How's your experience of life changed because of that?
Oh, okay. How has my life changed? Okay, so my connection with myself, my relationship with myself, I feel softer with myself, especially when I feel sad, because during my bleed, that's when I feel the most sad. And sadness is like, as a woman, when you're on your bleed, sadness is a pretty dominant emotion during that time. And if we don't know actually how to hold ourselves when we're feeling that, it just creates chaos. So when I was rejecting it, it would put a lot of pressure on my relationship with my partner because I would want more. I would need more support. I would need more nurture. So there was a lot of chaos there. And then I would feel a lot of tension because I was suppressing it so much. So by me accepting it, there's less chaos. I can hold myself better.
Beautiful. And I feel like I want to share with people like just some red flags that, you know, to be aware of. You may or may not be aware if you're avoiding emotions, but some red flags are if you are somewhere and you avoid listening to music. And you'd be surprised at how many people actually avoid listening to music because it evokes a memory or emotion or something that they don't want to feel.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, are you overly busy? Do you keep yourself busy and feel restless or bored when you are still? The other thing is addictions. Like if you have addictions, chances are most of the addictions that we have are to avoid feeling, to numb, to escape, to get away from your emotions. And so it's just something to think about. These are some red flags that if you're going along with your life going, I'm just really busy, or, you know, thinking like, and it's not that there is something wrong. There is nothing wrong. It's just that over time, it will have an effect on your well-being because our bodies are not designed to hold on to it. Our bodies are designed to have a flow of energy through our body. And what happens is from a young age, we develop patterns. So we develop the thought forms of what we believe we're allowed to, what's safe to express. And we also develop physiological patterns in our bodies. So if you've been shamed for your body, you may feel a contraction in your body, which is going to squash certain parts. So energy flow is not going to come through. So you're going to have this deflated state. And so, you know, if I ask most of you to get into a physiology of sadness, how would you move? Do it now. Like most people would just hunch over and squash their solar plexus, squash their identity, squash who they are, close their heart, go inward. But if I asked you to show me happy, how would you be? Most likely you'd be upright, you'd be open, your chest would be open, and you'd be feeling different feelings. And then you've got your channel that is nice and clear for energy to move through you. So this is the impact of keeping it inside, and also just some things to, that might be having some light bulb moments for you to go, oh my gosh, that's me. And if it is you, know that, you're not stuck that way. And talking through it is not always the answer. You can move through it without words. In fact, most of the women that are drawn to the Kunyin practice are women that have difficulty in expressing themselves, because you don't need words. The body speaks. Your body speaks. Our bodies are always speaking. Your mind will tell you lies. Your mind will deceive you. Your mind just wants to keep you safe, but your body will not lie. If you feel embarrassed and those cheeks want to go flush red, there's nothing that you can do about it to stop it.
Yeah.
Just ask someone who's had that happen to them. Right? So just be aware of that. The body is always speaking, and most of us are very disconnected from their bodies. And that was me too. So there is an answer out there for you.
Thank you. And something that's just popped up. So emotions are energy in motion, right? So there needs to be a flow. So when you're suppressing or rejecting, what happens to the emotion? Does it get trapped? And what happens if it gets trapped?
Well, emotions can be linked to different organs in the body. So it can show up in different ways. So anger, for example, anger can be held in the liver, which is why when some people drink alcohol and that affects the liver, how the liver processes, that they may become aggressive or sad. Sadness and sorrow and grief can be held in the lungs. Fears can be held in the stomach, which is why sometimes if people are afraid, you may see they've got to run off to the toilet. The body receives everything. And even when you're not consciously aware of it, our brains can only process so much that we're consciously aware of. But your brain is taking in everything around you. Your brain can hear the birds chirping outside, or the kids running down the street, or the cars zooming past. Your brain hears it all. Now, you just block it out because it's not relevant to you. We delete, we generalize information depending on what we need. But the body is always listening. Every couple of days, clear out that channel, refresh that channel, move that energy through you so you can be fresh and new.
Yes.
Yay.
Yes. And for those watching, because obviously we all deal with emotions in a different way, what's the impact of internalizing your emotions?
Well, it has been said that you cannot suppress one emotion without suppressing them all. So the impact is the quality of your life will not be as colorful. The quality of your life will not be as beautiful and have that full spectrum of feelings and emotions that you could feel if you didn't hold them down. And I've already mentioned dis-ease, illnesses that can be created through holding on. And, it's known that hatreds, in some circles, that hatreds can feed cancer. So the emotions that we have can support you, or they can disempower you.
Yeah.
So it's important to have a healthy relationship with your emotions if you really want to experience life fully. I recently had an experience that made me really, really sad, and I was sad for quite a long time. And I don't think I've ever been that sad. And I remember just reflecting and asking the Creator, asking God, like praying and going, why is this happening? Why do I have to feel so sad? And the message that I got back coming back to me was because I wanted you to feel the full spectrum of what it is to be alive. Because I had experienced highs of joy, of bliss, of ecstasy, but I hadn't really experienced the down. And we can't really appreciate that if we don't have contrast. Everything is contrast. So it was like, oh, okay, I get it. So the depths of the sadness that you can feel, the depths of your sorrow, know that the other side, the flip side of it, is always available for you. The exact opposite is always available. So, but when you can be with it, experience it, feel it, accept it, then you can have this full and amazing experience of what it is to be a human being.
I love that.
Being.
I love
a human
that.
doing.
Yeah.
A human being.
A human being.
Yeah.
So let's finish off with one tip on how to help everyone who's watching how to be more in the being. So for those who, I guess, want to improve their relationship with their body and their emotions, who perhaps don't know how to identify how they're actually feeling and how they can move through it, do you have a tip?
The first thing that needs to happen if you are going to feel is you have to pause. Because emotions needs, and we need spaciousness in order to feel. Without the spaciousness, you'll just keep on in the doing energy. So the first thing I would say is pause. Take time through your day to just stop and just take a breath. Breathe into your heart, bring the energy from here to here. And sometimes that can be the longest journey. And just allow yourself just to be in a moment of checking in. Scan your body. Where do you feel tension? Is it hard to breathe? Do you need to slow it down a little more? And just giving yourself the space. That's the first step that I would say is really, really important. It's a really easy thing that people can do to just pause, stop, take stock of where you're at, breathe, and then get on with your day.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I hope that landed for everyone who's watching. And we are going to finish there. And we're going to see you all in the next call. And we're going to take it once again, even deeper. And we're going to look at the emotional blockages in your relationship. So we're going to get a little bit more personal so that you can see and really have that awareness of how emotions play in different aspects of your life. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next call.